My girlfriend Rachel said you sound like a creep. Were you following me? When I caught her in what I now realize was a carefully planned lie. So I started paying attention to everything. What I have discovered about our 7-year relationship and our 4-year-old daughter, Lily. God, I cannot believe I am typing this. Here is what happened yesterday that broke my entire world apart. Rachel told me she was having a group lunch to celebrate 2 interns finishing their program. Sounded normal, right? She mentioned it casually Tuesday night saying, "Oh, we are taking the interns to a Macy's on Friday. Mark's organizing it since he is their manager. Mark Sullivan." She had been talking about him for weeks. The kind of leader everyone respects, she would say. So different from other managers. No ego. Just genuinely cares about people. The way her voice changed when she said his name. I should have known. Friday comes. She gets dressed up, not fancy, but careful. You know what I mean? Like she was putting thought into how she looked. At 11:30 in the morning, she kisses me goodbye saying she'd be back around 2. Love you. Then my friend Kelly calls at 12:45. Hey David, this is awkward, but I just saw Rachel at a Macy's. She is with some guy, just the 2 of them. They look close. My stomach literally dropped. I am talking physical nausea here. I text Rachel asking how is the group lunch going? Who made it? Her reply said, great. 2 interns. Mark and 4 others from the team. 8 people total. That is what she wanted me to believe. I wait 20 minutes. My hands are shaking. I text again, asking sounds fun. Send me a group pic when you get a chance. No response for an hour. At 2:15, she finally texts saying heading home now. People started ditching us halfway through. Lol, wait. So now the story changed. From 8 people eating lunch to people ditching. When she got home, I was calm. I asked simply, how was lunch? Did everyone show up? And guys, this is where it gets insane. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, yeah, it was great. All 8 of us had such a good time. I felt like I was losing my mind. I said, Rachel, my friend Kelly saw you. It was just you and Mark. That is when she exploded. You are making this up. Were you following me? You sound like a creep. Why are you so insecure? It is pathetic. You are going to ruin us with this paranoid behavior. She didn't deny being alone with Mark. She didn't explain why her story kept changing. She just attacked me for catching her lying. I am sitting here at 2 in the morning, watching our daughter sleep, and I keep thinking, when did the woman who used to get jealous if I spoke to a female cashier become someone who lies about secret lunch dates and calls me the creep for noticing? But here is the thing that is really messing with my head. This isn't the first time. There have been other signs I have been ignoring, and now they are all flooding back. The constant texting during work hours with her colleague Ethan. The way she guards her phone. How she started going out every Friday night after getting promoted, leaving me home with Lily. The drinking and smoking she never did before. The way she talks about Mark like he is some kind of hero. Reddit, I think I have been living with a stranger. And the worst part? She is making me feel like I am the problem for noticing her lies. What would you do? Am I overreacting? Or is this as bad as it feels? So to summarize, girlfriend lied about group lunch that was actually a date, then called me a creep for catching her. Starting to realize this might be part of a bigger pattern. Update 1, I have been awake for 3 nights straight, just processing. After reading your comments about gaslighting and projection, I started looking back at our entire 7-year relationship with new eyes. What I discovered makes that lunch lie look like nothing. Let me paint you the real picture of Rachel and me. The early years from 2017 to 2020 were what I now call her jealousy era. Rachel was insanely jealous. I am talking about blowing up my phone if I was 5 minutes late from work. If I mentioned eating lunch with a female coworker, not even one-on-one, just in a group, she would interrogate me for hours. What did you talk about? Why did you sit next to her? Did she laugh at your jokes? One time, I helped our neighbor Mrs. Chen, who is literally 70 years old, carry groceries upstairs. Rachel saw from our window and didn't speak to me for 2 days. When I asked what was wrong, she said, you seem to care more about other women than your own girlfriend. I started walking on eggshells. I would avoid female coworkers. I would text Rachel every hour during work. I even stopped going to lunch with mixed groups because it wasn't worth the drama. When I tried to break up with her in 2018, guys, I actually tried. She showed up at my apartment with a boxer puppy, said she had change and trust me more. The puppy was so cute, and she seemed so genuinely sorry. I stayed. From 2020 to 2023, after Lily was born, Rachel's jealousy got strategic. She would guilt me out of seeing friends, saying you would rather hang out with them than spend time with your daughter. Slowly, I lost touch with most of my social circle. The only reason I still talk to Kelly from HR is because she is persistent as hell and kept reaching out. Rachel monitored everything. She wanted to know where I was, who I talked to, what I spent money on. She would go through my phone just checking and always found something to be upset about. A female name in my work chat, a like on someone's Facebook post, whatever. But here is the twisted part. I started to believe I was the problem. She would say things like, normal boyfriends don't make their girlfriends feel insecure like this. You must be doing something to make me worry. Then in early 2024, everything changed. In January, Rachel got promoted to project manager. Suddenly, she is making $85,000 to my $68,000. First time she has ever out-earned me. And it is like a switch flipped. She started going out every Friday with the girls from work. When I asked to meet these friends, she would say, why? You don't need to be involved in everything I do. She bought a vape pen, started drinking wine on weeknights, staying up late on her phone, always texting. When I would ask who she was talking to, she had snapped, God, David, I have a life outside of you. The woman who used to demand I text her every hour was now going radio silent for entire evenings. This is where it gets really messed up. Reddit. In February, I noticed Rachel texting constantly during work, like from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., non-stop. Her phone was buzzing every few minutes. One morning, I glanced over while she was making coffee and saw the name Ethan Brooks with a string of messages. The preview showed thinking about what you said yesterday about work-life balance. You really get it. I asked who Ethan was. Rachel got immediately defensive, saying he is a senior consultant on my team. We work closely together. Is that a problem now? When I said the texting seemed excessive, she lost it, saying you are being controlling. This is exactly the insecure behavior that pushes people away. But guys, this is the same woman who used to count how many times I said thank you to our female cashier at the grocery store. I let it slide because I was so trained to believe I was being insecure. After your comments on my last post, I started documenting things. Here is what I found. Rachel has been having what is basically an emotional affair with Ethan for 4 months. They text about personal stuff, kids, dreams, relationship frustrations, things she never discusses with me anymore. She knows everything about his marriage problems. He knows she is going through a rough patch with me. They send each other memes and inside jokes. When I finally confronted her about it 2 weeks ago, she said it is just work talk. You are too insecure to handle me having male friends. The same woman who used to lose her mind if I said good morning to a female coworker. Which brings us to Mark. The lunch wasn't a one-time thing. Reddit. I started paying attention, and she brings him up constantly. Mark says this. Mark thinks that Mark is so different from other men. She lights up when she talks about him. After the lunch incident, I asked our mutual friend who works in her building about this group celebration. Guess what? There was no celebration. No interns finished any program that week. The entire lunch story was fabricated from start to finish. Here is what is really screwing with my head. Rachel has completely flipped the script on our relationship, but she is using the exact same manipulation tactics she used to use on me. When she was jealous and controlling, she would say, if you cared about me, you wouldn't make me worry like this. Now that I am noticing her sketchy behavior, it is if you trusted me, you wouldn't be so paranoid. She has turned every conversation into me being the problem. I am insecure. I am controlling. I am going to ruin us with my behavior. But I remember how she used to act. I remember the fights, the accusations, the constant suspicion. Now she is doing exactly what she used to accuse me of. But somehow, I am still the villain for noticing. I am not sleeping. I am barely eating. Lily keeps asking why Daddy looks sad, and I don't know what to tell her. Rachel acts like nothing happened. She still goes out Fridays, still texts constantly, still talks about Mark like he is some kind of saint. And when I bring up my concerns, she makes me feel like I am losing my mind. But I am not crazy, am I? This is what cheating looks like in 2024, right? Emotional affairs, secret lunches, gaslighting your partner into thinking they are paranoid. I keep thinking about that lunch, the careful way she got dressed, the practiced lie about 8 people, how she called me a creep for catching her. I think she is planning to leave me Reddit. I think she is just building up her case that I am controlling and insecure so she can justify whatever she is planning to do. The question is, do I wait for her to pull the trigger, or do I start protecting myself and Lily now? To summarize, Rachel was extremely jealous and controlling for years. After her promotion, she is doing everything she used to accuse me of, but somehow I am still the bad guy for noticing. I think she is preparing to leave. Update 2. Your advice about documenting everything probably saved my life. Well, at least saved my relationship with my daughter. Because what I have discovered over the past month, I need to sit down just thinking about it. First, let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, I hired a lawyer. After reading hundreds of your comments, I contacted 3 different family law attorneys. The consultation fees were worth every penny because they all said the same thing. Document everything. Prepare for the worst. And don't let her know you are preparing. So that is what I did. And guys, the rabbit hole goes so much deeper than I thought. 2 weeks ago, Rachel left her phone on the kitchen counter while taking a shower. It buzzed with a text from Mark with a muscle emoji next to his name. Yes, she had a muscle emoji next to his name. The preview showed "Cannot wait for Saturday." I have been thinking about. My hands were literally shaking, but I knew this might be my only chance. I grabbed the phone and started screenshotting everything before I lost my nerve. Reddit. I wish I could unsee what I found. They have been texting daily since late February, not work stuff. I am talking about intimate, relationship-building conversations. Mark would say, "You deserve so much better than someone who makes you feel guilty for having friends." Rachel would respond sometimes, "I think about what it would be like to be with someone who actually supports my success, instead of feeling threatened by it." Mark said, "My divorce taught me what real partnership looks like. It is not about control, it is about growth." Rachel replied, "David has always been insecure. Even before I got promoted, he couldn't handle me talking to other men. It is exhausting." I am reading this thinking, what? She is the one who used to lose her mind if I spoke to female coworkers. But it gets worse. So much worse. They have been meeting every Saturday for 6 weeks, while I am home with Lily, thinking Rachel is running errands or meeting girlfriends for coffee. Some choice excerpts from their planning texts. Rachel would say, "Same place as last week. I can get away around 10. Mark would respond, "Perfect. I love our Saturday mornings together." Rachel said, "I feel like myself again when I am with you." Mark replied, "You are amazing. I hope you know that." Rachel would text, "I am just scared about the timing with Lily and everything." Mark answered, "We will figure it out. You cannot stay in a relationship that is making you miserable." Guys, they are planning my breakup for me, while I am at home taking care of our daughter. Remember Ethan, the work colleague? I dug deeper into those conversations, and I found texts dating back to August 2023. August. This has been going on since before her promotion. The early messages were subtle, complaining about work, sharing personal stories. But by October, it was full emotional affair territory. Ethan would say, "I understand you in ways your boyfriend never could." Rachel would respond, "You make me feel heard. David just wants me to be grateful and quiet." Ethan said, "You are too smart and ambitious for someone who doesn't appreciate what he has." They never met in person. Ethan lives in Portland. But he was essentially her practice run for Mark, building her confidence to cheat, validating her narrative that I am the problem. I started checking Rachel's stories about her Friday night outings. Turns out, girls' night has been code for building my new social circle without David. She has been telling people we are probably going to split up since January. My friend Kelly, bless her heart, did some digging through her work connections and found out Rachel has been talking about me like I am her controlling, insecure ex-boyfriend while we are still living together. She has been testing the waters for months, seeing how people react to her version of our relationship problems, building support for her exit strategy. Here is the part that really shows how calculated this all is. Rachel opened her own bank account in March. She has been transferring money there every paycheck, not huge amounts, but consistent, building her independence fund. She has also been documenting every argument we have had, every time I have asked where she is going or who she is texting. My lawyer says it looks like she is building a case that I am controlling and potentially unstable. The woman who used to go through my phone daily is now documenting my invasive behavior for asking basic questions about her constant texting. This is the part that broke me. Reddit. I found Google searches on her phone. How to get primary custody in Colorado. Evidence of controlling behavior in relationships. Can father get 50/50 custody if mother has better income? How to prove partner is financially unstable. She is not just planning to leave me, she is planning to take Lily. I couldn't keep pretending anymore. Last Saturday, when Rachel said she was going to run errands, I asked her directly, "Are you meeting Mark?" The look on her face. Guys. Pure panic. Then immediate rage. How dare you accuse me of that? You are being paranoid again. This is exactly why our relationship is falling apart. So I showed her the screenshots. The silence was deafening. Then she went nuclear. You went through my phone? That is a complete violation of privacy. You are stalking me now. This is insane behavior. I cannot live like this anymore. You are suffocating me. Notice what she didn't say. She didn't deny the affair. She didn't apologize. She didn't explain anything. She just attacked me for discovering it. This is where your comments about deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender were spot on. Deny, it is not what it looks like, even though the texts are explicit. Attack, you are controlling, insecure, stalking me. Reverse, this is why our relationship is failing, because of your behavior. She is making me the villain in the story of her cheating on me. The kicker, she said, if you trusted me, you wouldn't need to go through my phone. The fact that you did this proves you are not ready for a mature relationship. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. I said, Rachel, you used to go through my phone weekly for 7 years. You made me change my behavior because of your insecurity. Now you are doing everything you accused me of, but somehow I am still the problem. Her response, that was different. I was protecting our relationship. You are just trying to control me. Rachel is sleeping in the guest room. She is still going out, still texting, still acting like she is the victim in this situation. But here is the difference. I am not questioning my sanity anymore. I see the pattern clearly. She projected her own cheating tendencies onto me for years. Once she got financial power, she flipped to doing exactly what she always accused me of. She has been systematically building a case against me while having affairs. She is planning to take Lily and paint me as the unstable one. My lawyer says I have strong documentation of her infidelity and her pattern of manipulation. More importantly, I have evidence of her planning to alienate Lily from me. The hardest part, I still love the woman I thought she was. But I am starting to realize that woman never existed. This is who Rachel has always been. She just hid it better when she needed me. Next week, I am filing a custody petition and property partition suit. I am also requesting a custody evaluation to document the stable home environment I have been providing, while she has been running around having affairs. I am scared, guys, but I am not backing down anymore. To summarize, found evidence of physical affair with Mark, long-term emotional affair with Ethan, financial preparation for leaving, and research about taking my daughter. She has been planning this for months while making me think I was the problem. Filing for custody next week. Update 3. The final chapter of the most insane year of my life. I promised you updates, and after everything that has happened, I owe you the conclusion to this story. I am writing this from my new apartment. Yes, I moved out, while Lily is at her mom's for the weekend, 50/50ths custody, as requested. I am exhausted, but for the first time in years, I feel clear, like I can finally breathe. Let me tell you how it all went down. 2 months ago, I served Rachel with custody and co-parenting agreement papers at work. Yes, at work. My lawyer suggested it because she couldn't cause a scene in front of colleagues, and she couldn't claim she never received them. The look on her face when that process server walked into her office, I would have paid money to see it. That night, Rachel came home in full victim mode, crying, bewildered, playing the confused girlfriend, who had no idea why I was being so extreme. "David, how could you do this? We could have worked things out. You are destroying our family over nothing." Think about Lily. This is going to traumatize her. I stayed calm. I said, "Rachel, you have been planning to leave me for months. I am just making it official." "That is not true. I never said I wanted to leave." So I pulled out printed copies of her texts with Mark, the ones where they literally discussed the timing of our breakup. The switch from victim to fury was instantaneous. When she realized I had evidence, all pretense dropped. The mask came off completely. "You sick creep. You have been stalking me. I should call the police. This is harassment. No wonder I needed to find someone else. You are a controlling psychopath." Then she said something that will stick with me forever. "I should have left you years ago, but I felt sorry for you. You are pathetic, and everyone knows it. Even Lily is going to realize what a loser her father is." That is when I knew I was looking at a stranger. The woman I loved never existed. But guys, I didn't take the bait. My lawyer had coached me. Don't react. Let her show who she really is. Rachel immediately filed countermotions claiming I was financially irresponsible, emotionally unstable, a danger to Lily's well-being, guilty of stalking and harassment. She painted herself as the successful career woman trapped with an insecure, controlling man who couldn't handle her independence. But remember all that documentation your advice helped me gather? My lawyer presented screenshots of her affairs, both emotional and physical, bank records, showing her secret account and financial deception, evidence of her absence during Lily's care while I maintained our household, records of my consistent employment and financial stability, documentation of her strategic planning to alienate me from our daughter. The court appointed a custody evaluator, a neutral third party who interviews everyone and observes parent-child interactions. During my interview, I presented everything calmly and factually. I focused on Lily's needs, my role as her primary caregiver, and my plan for co-parenting. During Rachel's interview, she exploded. Couldn't stop talking about how controlling and unstable I was. The evaluator later told my lawyer that Rachel spent most of the session attacking me instead of discussing Lily's needs. The home visits were even more telling. When the evaluator came to observe me with Lily, our routine was natural. Homework, dinner prep, bedtime stories. Lily was comfortable and happy. When she observed Rachel, well, Rachel had to figure out Lily's current bedtime routine because she had been absent for most evenings over the past 6 months. Here is something I didn't expect. Rachel's workplace drama. Turns out, having an affair with your manager while going through a public custody battle creates some HR complications. Who knew? Mark Sullivan, the respectable leader with no ego, apparently has a history of relationships with subordinates. The company launched an investigation after someone, not me, reported their relationship. Rachel got transferred to a different department. Mark got a formal reprimand. Neither was fired, but their little romance became very public very quickly. The woman who was so concerned about her professional reputation ended up being office gossip fodder. Last week, we reached our court-approved settlement. Custody. 50/50ths. Exactly what I asked for. Lily spends weekdays alternating between us, and weekends are split. Support because Rachel earns more, she pays me child support. The irony is incredible. Property. We worked out a property partition agreement. I kept the house, which she wanted to force me to sell. I am refinancing to buy out her share, but Lily gets to stay in her childhood home. Debt. Rachel is responsible for all the credit card debt from her independence fund spending. My lawyer said Rachel's team pushed for a quick settlement because the evidence of infidelity and financial deception made their position very weak. When we signed the papers, Rachel tried one last manipulation. "I hope you are happy. You have destroyed everything we built." I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. Just clarity. "Rachel, I didn't destroy anything. You did that years ago. I just stopped pretending it wasn't happening. You will regret this. Lily will resent you for breaking up her family." "No, Rachel. Lily will grow up seeing what healthy relationships look like because I am modeling them for her now." She walked away without another word. Guys, I cannot describe how different I feel. It is like I was holding my breath for 7 years and can finally exhale. Some observations from the other side. The gaslighting was real. I spent years thinking I was controlling and insecure because Rachel convinced me I was. Turns out, noticing someone's sketchy behavior isn't paranoia. It is pattern recognition. Projection was her specialty. Every accusation she made about me was something she was actually doing. The jealousy, the control, the emotional manipulation, all her. I was never the problem. Rachel needed me to be the villain in her story so she could justify her behavior, but the truth doesn't change based on the narrative someone creates. My daughter is thriving. Lily has adapted better than I expected. She is happier in our stable routines, and our one-on-one time is precious. She hasn't asked why mommy and daddy don't live together. Kids are more resilient than we think. I am rediscovering myself. I am reconnecting with friends I lost touch. I am pursuing hobbies I gave up. I am even considering dating again. Not yet, but the idea doesn't terrify me anymore. The red flags were always there. Looking back, Rachel showed me who she was from the beginning. The extreme jealousy, the control, the manipulation. I just made excuses because I loved her. Trust your gut. Every time I felt something was wrong, I was right. Every time she convinced me I was being paranoid, I was actually underreacting. Last I heard, the thing with Mark ended shortly after the HR investigation. Apparently, workplace affairs lose their excitement when they become workplace scandals. She is dating someone new already. A guy from her gym. According to Lily, the pattern continues. But that is not my concern anymore.